Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, the great millstone who rule well, and salutations to all you Akim on the highways and byways. That's noise in this gospel abroad on the four corners of the earth and to the ears of the elect. I'm Brother Zion out of GMS Boston, once again here on my channel. And this video is gonna be about the children of Israel multiplying exceedingly and great here in the land of Babylon, okay? And Donald Trump, right, which is the king of Babylon, right, the Pharaoh of Egypt, okay, because the scriptures refer to America as Great Babylon, but also refers to it as Egypt, all right? So he made he made a comment. Actually, it was via tweet. Here it is on the screen. You can read. It says there's a revolution going on out in California. So many sanctuary cities want out of this ridiculous crime-infested and breeding concept. Jerry Brown is trying to back out of the National Guards at the border, but the people of the state are not happy. Want security and safety now. So this is his this was the tweet that he put it out. But right here, as you can see, he says as crime infested in the breeding concept. All right, and what they're talking about is in breeding. You know, really animals breed. You know, we as human beings were ordained to be fruitful and to multiply. All right, so he's obviously throwing meat to his base because the so-called white man talks in cold words. That's how he talks, and he has these. Not only does he talk in cold wording, but he has these buzzwords that he uses to that triggers certain emotions and thoughts that are in people's brains. So when you see a revolution, it roused them up. You know, it roused them to that American revolution, make America great again. And then when they put the crime infested, you know, that's them saying these wetbacks, these cartels, these spics, all right, these drug dealers, these rapists, these robbers, all right, these MS-13 gang members, all right, the Mexican mafia. Okay, he wants to put that stigma out of everybody that's from the Northern Kingdom. You so-called Puerto Ricans, you so-called Mexicans, all right, Salvadorians. Your stigma is one of that type, that characteristic. All right, and again, the breeding is because we know, all right, we have a lot of children. Okay, we have a lot of children. We're fruitful. We multiply. Our women are fruitful. You spit on them, and they'll drop a baby. They'll drop seed. All right, and on the contrary, they're not. So we're out breeding them. We're out doing them when it comes to having children here. Okay, so him being the king of Babylon, this is nothing new. All right, this is Exodus chapter 1 verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters and afflicted them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. All right, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, and mortar, and brick, and all manner of service in the field, all their service therein. They made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake unto the Hebrew midwives, which name of it was Sapphira, and the name of it Poor. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools. If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, she shall live. But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called the midwives and said unto them, Why have you done this thing? And ye have saved the men alive. Right? Verse 19. And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come into them. Therefore God dealt with the midwives, and people multiplied, and waxed very mightily. And it came to pass that the midwives feared the Most High, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall leave alive. Okay, so nothing new underneath the sun. Right? This is what happens. All right, when they put us in bondage, they afflicted us in captivity. All right, by default we became their enemy. So they said, "Come, let us deal wisely with them." At least a war breaks out, and they join our our enemies to take us down. Okay, you Israelites, which and you're gonna soon learn this, that you're gonna learn, right, that these Edomites are your natural born enemy. Okay, are your natural born enemy, and the things that are happening right now, the scriptures say these things were written for our learning's sake. Okay, so here's this article. All right, 7 incredibly shocking quotes from Planned Parenthood founder Margaret Sanger. Okay, as the founder of America's largest abortion chain, Margaret Sanger ideology for Planned Parenthood was cemented in eugenics, the belief and practice that aims to eliminate certain groups of people. As a eugenist, Sanger encouraged the sterilization of persons with less desirable qualities, and strongly encouraged the reproduction of groups with more desirable qualities. Sanger's disdain for blacks, minority groups, and the diseased and disabled spawned the birth of an abortion corporation that profits off of killing of the weakest and most vulnerable. From its conception, Planned Parenthood was built upon the roots of exterminating individuals deemed, quote, unfit, unquote, for the human family. Today, the spirit of Singers live on, according to the Guttmacher Institute, the former pro-abortion research division of Planned Parenthood. African American women, you Israelites, you Judite women, all right, are 5 times more likely to choose abortion over a Edomite woman, a white woman. Planned Parenthood clinics are strategically planted in minority communities, targeting blacks and impoverished minorities. All right, and abortion remains the leading cause of death for blacks in the community. Below is a compilation of 7 shocking quotes from Sanger and famed eugenist who's birthed America's largest abortion on-demand corporation. Alright, one of her quotes was, we don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. Alright, I've accepted an invitation to talk to the women's branch of the KKK, Ku Klux Klan. Okay, there are human weeds, reckless breeders spewing, human beings who never should have been born. 4. Birth control is nothing more or less than weeding out the unfit. Human beings who never should have been born at all. I think the greatest in the world brings children into the world. I think the greatest sin in the world is bringing children into the world. This bitch is a fucking devil. This bitch is a fucking demon. This bitch is the harbinger of death, man. Man, these people are the fucking harbingers of death, man. These people, they prove this is, man. Oh, man. Now let's go to this thing of Don Lemon. We'll go back to the thing.
Was not coded racial language. Well, it remains unconvinced.
What does breeding mean to this president? Because when you think of breeding, you think of animals breeding, populating.
I'm not going to begin to think what you think. Certainly, I think that it can mean a lot of things to a lot of people.
Yeah. So if you, this is this bitch is trying to basically justify what Trump just justified Trump's tweet. All right, she's the spokesman for spokeslady, if you will, for the White House, and see, Esau know that.
But the president is talking about a growing problem.
One reason people may have a hard time buying it is because it's just the latest in a number of comments which seem to set a pattern here. Before this latest excuse goes down the memory hole, as they so often do, let's put it in context and talk about it and why it's so unprecedented and damaging. Long before throwing his hat into the ring for president, Trump spent years suggesting that the nation's first black president was born in Kenya and not an American citizen, denigrating the first African-American president. If you're waiting for an apology, I hope you haven't been holding your breath.
So all this goes back to the hatred that they have for the children of Israel. Okay, and I'm gonna do this last video right here just to prove that so you see the spirit that they're coming in. All right.
For my word, do your duty. Make more babies. That's the lesson drawn out of two interesting stories over the last couple of days. First, a story yesterday that half of the kids in this country under 5 years old are minorities. By far.
Real quick, it said half the kids in this country are minorities. It's more than that. This video was made 9 years ago.
The greatest number are Hispanic. Know what that means? 25 years and the majority population is Hispanic. Why is that? Well, Hispanics are having more kids and others, notably the ones Hispanics called gabachos, white people, are having fewer. Now in this country, European ancestry people, white people, are having kids at the rate that does sustain the population. It grows a bit. That compares to Europe, where the birth rate is in the negative zone. They're not having enough babies to sustain their population. Consequently, they're inviting in more and more immigrants every year to take care of things, and those immigrants are having way more babies than the native population, hence Eurabia. Why aren't they having babies? Because babies get in the way of a prosperous and comfortable modern life. Peanut butter fingerprints on the leather seats in the BMW. The Euros are in particular can't be bothered with kids. Underscore that second point, a second story today reports that Vladimir Putin is so concerned about the declining and imploding population of Russia, he is paying couples to have babies. Imagine, procreating for cash in Mother Russia. Putin has taken this step because at the rate things are going, Russia will lose close to 45 million in population in the next 45 years. Russia will be 2/3 of today's population. This is not a good trend for Russia, and it won't be here either if that should happen. Put it bluntly, we need more babies. Forget about that zero population growth stuff that my poor generation was misled on. Why is this important? Because civilizations need population to survive. So far, we're doing our part here in America, but Hispanics can't carry the whole load. The rest of you get busy. Make babies. Or put another way, a slogan for our times. Procreation, not recreation. That's my words.
Fucking devil. These people are, you see Nook's video popping up, it reads, white people are dying faster than being born in 7 states. Alright, so these devils know that their time is up. Alright, they're killing us. They're killing us for a reason. Alright, they know that their time is up. I'm going back to Exodus 1:7. It says, and the children of Israel were fruitful. Yeah, we fruitful. That's what we were ordained to do. And multiplied exceedingly. Multiplied abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty. And not just our population, but we were starting to get power. Right? We were mighty. All right, we're starting to get mighty and fill up the land. And even worse, the Hebrew Israelites are now waking up to who they are. So this devil is going to come down with great wrath. Because why? He know he got a short time. All right, so these devils are trying to exterminate our people, hands down. And you still got these coons, all right, these Uncle Tomahawks and these damn Sambos that's trying to hold on and protect this goddamn devil. While he's actively trying to wipe us out. So there's nothing new underneath the sun. The things that was happening in the past are the things that's happening today. Okay? These things were written for our learning's sake. And throughout the Yahweh Shem Yahushai that we know what's going on, and at least we could stand a chance to fight against the wiles of the devil. Shalom.